Good morning. Okay, I hit go live and then I was like, oh my gosh, my phone's on 2%. Must have not been plugged into the charger last night. So hopefully we will get through this. I plugged myself into my computer, but I also know that like live video takes a ton of energy. So fingers crossed it lasts. But guys, I did a live yesterday, which I haven't done in probably weeks and months. And it just felt so freaking good. It felt so good because I was able to thoroughly answer a ton of your questions, and the response I got was insane. It was all about nutrition and how I like keep it super simple with my food prep. And I really feel like I was able to help a lot of people. So my wheels, I mean, this is like the blessing and the curse, guys, of being an entrepreneur and successful in a lot of things. Like, it never turns off. It never turns off. Like, I was just driving home from hip hop last night and I was like, oh my gosh. And my daughter's like, what's wrong? And I was like, my brain feels like it's going to explode with like things I need to share. And so I like whipped into the driveway and like took out my notes pad and wrote all this stuff down. And the same thing happened this morning. I'm like, the wheels just never stop turning. So I hopped out of the shower and wrote all this stuff down. I'm like, gosh, I just feel like it kind of is like through me, right? And I've always prayed that prayer of like, just speak through me, teach through me, use me, let me be a vessel. And that's what I try to heed, right? So what I want to talk to you about today is, I don't even know what the topic would be, except this problem that I see so many people in right now. So two people that are near and dear to my heart, and I don't fault them at all. And this does not come from a judgmental place because I was this person 5 or 6 years ago. I was checking in with someone and I was like, how are you? What's going on? Like, what are your goals? How can I help? And they were like, yes, I need you to motivate me. And I was like, like brakes on. Whoa, wait 1 second. And then I had the exact same conversation yesterday with somebody near and dear to my heart that's like, I just don't have, she was saying, and this is her story and this is her belief, and we all have our stories and beliefs, nothing wrong with that she doesn't have the energy and she can't find the energy and she lacks energy. And guys, I get it. I was like agreeing with her. If you don't have the energy, we don't have anything. Like, we don't have a shot at anything, right? But after I was thinking about these two amazing women, I was like, this was the switch that I made. This was the shift 5-6 years ago. I realized, and Tony Robbins says this in one of my all-time favorite videos, and he learned it from his teacher, Jim Rohn. He says, if you want life to change, if you are sick and tired, if you want life to change, then you have to change. Like, we cannot wait for life to change. We cannot sit back in the hardest year of our life and wait for COVID to go away. We cannot wait for restrictions to be lifted. Like, we have to live our life now. We have to find the motivation. I have to take ownership of my motivation. I have to take ownership of my energy. I can get you on a team call. I can get you on a webinar. I can get you in my course. I can fire you up. I can motivate you, but that's not what I'm about. I'm about giving you the tools, the tips, and the strategies so you can go freaking do this yourself. And what is underneath this? Yes! What is underneath this is, gosh, I need a pillow on my chair. What is underneath this is your habits and your rituals. So you have to create new habits and rituals. Guys, there's a reason why if you go to Barnes & Noble, there's probably 100 books written on the power of habit, right? Our habits are who we are. You know, if our habit is to watch 2 hours of TV every night, guess what that's going to get you? If our habit is to hit the snooze 6 times, guess what that's going to get you? It is not up to anyone else. It is up to you to take ownership of what you're going to do with your life. How are you going to, and here's the thing, guys. I think the thing that people outside looking in, they're like, Moira, you're always so motivated. You always have so much energy. I have to go find it every freaking day. And I do it by my morning process, right? I do that by getting my head in the right space, by training my body to get out of bed when that alarm goes off. I train my mind every single day. It's not just magically sitting there for me when I wake up in the morning. It's not like, here's all the motivation, here's all the energy, Moira, go get them. I have to work hard at it every single day. And so what I was thinking about last night was like, I was talking to my friend Bo Eason, and his book, There's No Plan B for Your A Game. It's freaking amazing. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It's one of the most referenced books in my speeches because there's just so many nuggets. My son, I always make my son listen to it because he's a competitive athlete. If your children are competitive athletes, it's an amazing book for you and them. But one of the things that Bo talks about is the 66-day board. You know, it's kind of a tall tale that like a habit is created in 21 days. Sure, you can make some amazing progress in 21 days. You can shift some things, but it is going to be rock solid. After 66 days of doing something, it is literally harder to not do the thing than it is to do the thing at that point. That is how ingrained it is literally in the circuitry of your brain. Like neuroplasticity, you guys. We're talking about rewiring the brain. There's no plan B for your A game. Bo Eason, Eason, I think. Such a good book. So during quarantine, we did these 66-day boards. I think I'm going to bring them back. And this is the power of habit and ritual, guys. We think as a society that we need to, sorry, I'm getting fired up. I'm like laughing at myself. I'm like, reel it in, Moira. We think as a society, right, that we're like, life sucks. I'm so lacking motivation. I'm so sick and tired. I need to change everything. And then we try to change everything. And it lasts for a week and we fall off the 18 wagons that we put ourselves on and we say, F it, it didn't work. And we throw in the towel. Guys, the post that I put up the other day when it's like, how did you become the number one coach? And it's like, I showed up every day in 2015. I showed up every day in 2016. I showed up every day in 2017 and 2018 and 2019 and 2020. And I will in 2021. Like, everyone quits. Everyone quits on the journey. Everyone quits, right? We underestimate where we're going and the path that it's leading to. If I had looked at my success in the 6th week of coaching, if I had looked at my success in the amount of time and energy and effort and hard work and grit that I was putting in at 6 months, at a year and a half, I would have quit. I would have been like, this is ridiculous. I'm not making any money. But I freaking stayed on the path. So what I'm saying to you is it's little teeny tiny things that make the difference. And this is such an amazing example that literally after I was thinking about all this last night came to mind. So I got really clear on my vision. And one of the most important things is me like cultivating really, special one-on-one time with each of my children. Like I want to take them both on a big trip. Again, the big things, but the littlest things count the most. I also have been thinking recently, I'm like, God, I want Finn, my son who's 12, I want him listening to more personal growth books. Like I need to cultivate that habit or just force it on him, right? And all these things. And so last night I was like, wait a second. He also needs to stretch because he's the tightest 12-year-old I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, dude, you're going to end up way injured. So here's what we did. I put on a 10 minute stretching video and we stretched together at 8:00 last night. And it was awesome because we got to have conversation. After we had some conversation, I was like, oh my gosh, wait a second. We should listen to this. And so I put on this incredible video that's like motivation. It's, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. Anyway, one of the giants of basketball. And we listened to that together for 5 minutes, y'all. Not an hour. I'm not setting the bar so high that my son and I are going to listen to an hour-long podcast for, every day. 5 minutes. We listened to it for 5 minutes. We chatted about it. He, of course, we butted heads against it. He's like, Mom, that's not true. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, it's true. Like, you got to fail more to succeed in life. And we got to have conversation around that. All of this took place in 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So you better believe that what is going on my 66-day board is this 12-minute ritual that I want to create with my son, where we stretch, where we listen to personal growth, where we chat. 12 minutes. You don't need to change your whole freaking life. but you got to work hard, right? Cultivating a new habit, training your body and your brain to wake up at 5:30 in the morning is not easy. You have to force it in the beginning. It is hard effing work, but it is so worth it. And then it becomes this thing that is literally like brushing your teeth. Like, it is harder I cannot sleep, guys. It took me I feel like it took me like a year or two to be in the true habit of waking up at 5:15. If I want to sleep in, I actually said this to my husband last week. He's like, I thought you were sleeping in. And I was like, I slept till 6:30. Now, the weekend's a different thing. I sleep on the weekend. But I was like, I slept till 6:30. That is totally sleeping in. I just slept an hour and 15 minutes longer than I normally do. That was like the biggest gift in the world. Do you also notice how sweeter the fruit is when you kind of have these habits, right? Sleeping till 6:30 felt like literally a Hawaiian vacation. So, you guys, if you want a different life, it starts with you. It starts with you. You have to take ownership. You have to find your motivation. You have to find your energy. And you got to do it every single day. Oh my gosh, Michelle, can you please do a podcast? Yes, a podcast. Y'all are amazing. I feel like this is the start of the podcast, right? I do need to do a podcast. It's back here. It's in the brain. Here's the other thing, the other example, because I really feel like actual real life examples, and it's so hot in here because now I'm getting sweaty because I'm getting all fired up. This is the other thing. And this is, again, this never comes from a place of judgment, guys, ever, 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 ever. But I will tell you that I have built $1 million business in the time I used to watch reality TV. No joke. In the time I used to watch reality TV, I've built a 7-figure business. That is, I could also have become a concert pianist or a professional ballroom dancer or really good surfer or whatever it is. Like, we have no idea how much time we are throwing away. And let me paint this picture. Haven't watched a show. I shared this recently somewhere. Haven't watched a show in 5 years. Like, I love to snuggle up and watch a movie. It's actually very hard for me to watch a movie because my wheels are always turning about other stuff that's much more productive. And just good for my brain and still allows me to chill and relax and all that. Like, I'd rather watch a documentary that's going to expand my brain and my mindset. I know it sounds geeky, but I'd much rather do that. Super fun to watch Darren O'Lean and Zac Efron's, Netflix show, things like that. But I really don't ever watch TV ever. And here's why. I started to watch Yellowstone a few months ago. Freaking loved it, right? Loved it. And I was like sucked in like media does. And I was like, oh my gosh, started rationalizing. I was like, I can't believe I haven't watched TV in 5 or 6 years. I deserve this. I've worked so hard. It feels so good to snuggle in bed and just be mindless and lose myself in this fantasy, right? One night I got into bed and I went to the episode list. And I was trying to find the episode and I kept like clicking on the wrong ones. And I was like, I don't think I'm this far along in this season. I think it was season 1. And I finally clicked, no, maybe it was season 2. I don't know. And I finally clicked on where I was at. And I looked at the episodes. And I realized that in 2 weeks, maybe 3, that I had watched 22 episodes, which meant 22 hours, which meant a half of a work week. And I literally wanted to vomit. I literally was appalled because here's the thing that I saw. I saw that some things were struggling in my business, that my body wasn't feeling great, that like, I mean, guys, unless you have like the picture perfect life, which no one does, there are always things to work on. I could have dug more into my nutrition and done and learned a little bit more. I could have spent more time with my team. I could have done more mentorship calls. I could have read a book on leadership. I could have, written out my vision and refined my goals. 22 hours of my life gone. But that's the reality of what most all of us do all the time. So you guys, you got to take ownership back. My habit started to become get in bed and watch an hour of Yellowstone. or two, right? Because you always want to watch the next episode, and then I'm exhausted the next day, and then I'm not as productive. And I literally pulled the plug on it, and I was like, no more. I'm getting into bed and I'm reading something that fires me up. When we talk about finding the energy, finding the motivation, right? A lot of times, just like last night, I started reading Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure Outable, which I am like so passionate about that sentence because I believe in it so wholeheartedly. I woke up with fire this morning. I woke up with energy and excitement because I woke up with what I read last night rolling around in my mind. Wasn't watching the news. I wasn't watching Doomsday. I wasn't watching toxic whatever. I was feeding my brain with something good, a ritual, a habit that is part of my life. So enough from me. I hope that you guys get something good out of that. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, so many people on live. And that book is amazing. I love it already. And more to come. Something that's like exploding in my brain. I have this whole new concept and idea that I want to teach you because I've been doing it in private and started doing it in Q4 of last year and ended the year with like the biggest goals in the history of time accomplished. So I know it works and I'm going to share it on Sunday. So make sure you catch my live and I'll pull it over to an IGTV on Sunday. And I cannot wait to tell you guys all about future-proofing your life. All right, guys. Bye.